Hi everyone, it's Jeff from Transient Specialists. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be spending some time on the EM Test OCS 500N6.1. We'll start by going over a little bit about the transient generator and its testing capabilities. Then we'll move to the connections in the front and the back, and then finally we'll walk through selecting different testing criteria. The EM Test OCS 500N6.1 provides capabilities for the 100 kHz and 1 MHz damped oscillatory pulses to positive or negative 3000 volts in accordance with IEC 61000-4-18 and C37.90. This also allows the OCS 500N6.1 to be used with a standard magnetic field antenna to conduct testing to IEC 61000-4-10 for the damped oscillatory magnetic field tests. The EM Test OCS 500N6 has a built-in single-phase CDN capable of handling up to 250 volts, 16 amps, AC or DC. There's a few different models or versions of the OCS 500N6.1. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at a few of the different models. Now we're taking a look at page 6 from the user manual, which goes over the different standards that can be covered by the OCS 500N series of transient generators. It's worth noting that depending on the model and the capabilities, some of these different testing requirements may or may not be able to be achieved. If we scroll down slightly, you can see a brief overview of some of the different models. Today we're looking at the OCS 500N6.1, and that's going to have a built-in single-phase CDN. To see a further breakout of the different models, if we scroll down farther to page 7 of the user manual, we can see a breakout further. At the top, you can see we're looking at our OCS 500N6.1, and as the notes indicates, it has capabilities for the oscillatory waveforms for IEC 61000-4-18 at both 100 kHz and 1 MHz. As you can see in the notes as well, this unit does not have capabilities for ring wave. As you work your way down the list of different models, you can see the different configurations that are available. All the way at the bottom, there's a model designed for the fast damped oscillatory waveforms as well, the OCS 500N6 F.4. There are significant differences between the different models, which should be verified prior to ordering to ensure it has the correct CDN and the necessary testing capabilities. Let's go ahead now and let's take a look at the front of the system. Now we're taking a look at the front of the unit. Starting in the upper left corner, we have the display, and just below that are function keys as well as the yellow test on button. As we work our way right, we have the turnstile, cursor keys, as well as the exit and escape buttons. These are going to allow for the user to navigate through the different menus and select different criteria. As we continue right, we have the trigger output. Next to that, the coupling path LEDs and our EUT supply input connections to the coupling decoupling network. Taking a look at the bottom half of the front now, we have the direct output on the far left, and to the right of that, the connections for the three-phase CDN. As you can see, we don't have our system configured today with a built-in three-phase CDN, so those are simply capped off. Let's go ahead and let's get the unit turned around and let's take a look at the back. Here's the back of the OCS 500N6. Starting on the far left, we have the EUT supply input. Next to that, the reference earth connection. As we continue right towards the bottom, we have the safety circuit jumper, which needs to be connected for the system to operate. And just above that, we have the external trigger. Starting on the top to the right of the external trigger, we have the main selector. Below that, the power switch and the fuse. Finally, all the way on the right, we have a series of communication connections as well as the fail 1 and 2 connections. For additional information on the connections on the front and the back, go ahead and check out the user manual, which I'll put a link for in the description below. Let's go ahead now, let's get the system powered up and spend some time modifying testing criteria from the front panel display. Here's the front panel display when the system is powered on. Any function key can be selected to go to the next menu where specific tests can be selected. When we're navigating through the different menus, we can use the escape button to go to the previous menu. As you can see, now we have options for our damped oscillatory test at 100 kilohertz and 1 megahertz at F1 and F2. And then we have our damped oscillatory magnetic field tests on F4 and F5. Let's go ahead and let's select the function key 1 for our damped oscillatory test at 100 kilohertz. And here you can see we have options for quick start, standard test routines, and then user test routines. Let's go ahead and let's select F1 for quick start. Here's the quick start menu with the different default criteria. Once we have our criteria entered and we're ready to begin testing, the F1 key can be selected. Keep in mind, prior to beginning testing, the yellow test on button needs to be selected. To change the different criteria, select the F2 key. Now you can see the different criteria along the bottom. Let's go ahead and let's change the voltage to 2000 volts, the repetition to 30, and the coupling to L to PE. To start, select the F1 key, and this is going to allow us to change the voltage, and we're going to use the turnstile to go to 2000 volts. Next, we're going to want to change the repetition. To do that, select the F2 key and use the same turnstile again to move to 20 to 30. Finally, let's go ahead and let's change our coupling. To do that, select the F5 key and use our turnstile again to switch it to L to PE. Once the desired criteria has been changed, hit the escape button, and now you'll see the criteria reflected on our quick start menu. Let's go ahead now, let's navigate back through the menus and select testing for IEC 61000-4-10 for our 100 kilohertz magnetic field test. Here we have the menu for the damped oscillatory magnetic field test, and we have the same options as before with IEC 61000-4-18 damped oscillatory testing, with the addition of a function key F7 for magnetic field correction factor. Let's go ahead and let's select F1 for quick start. Here's the different testing criteria related to IEC 61000-4-10, including the H field level. Just as before, to adjust any criteria, F2 can be selected and adjusted accordingly. Keep in mind that there is also software that can be used for more complex test routines. If you're renting the equipment from us here at Transient Specialist, we'll include that on a laptop already installed. Alright, that should complete the video today on the EM Test OCS 500N6.1. We began the video by going over a little bit about the test system and different models. Then we moved to the connections in the front and the back. And finally, we spent some time modifying testing criteria from the front panel display. We hope this video has been useful, and please keep us in mind if you ever need to rent test equipment designed for IEC 61000-4-18 testing.